After a disastrous start to the season, the Toronto Raptors have turned a corner, and fans are wondering if it's still within the best interest of the team to tank this season. We'll answer if that's right or wrong in today's video. Let's get into it. This is Amateur Sports, the YouTube channel dedicated to Toronto Raptors content, so drop a like if you enjoy this video along the way and make sure you're subscribed for more just like it. Also, reminder, Amateur Sports merch is now available. I'm rocking the white hat here, but we also have the hat in black along with shirts and stickers for you to consider, so make sure you check out the link in the description to get yours while you can. But on the Raptors side of things, they really have seemingly turned for the better this season. 2 impressive wins in a row, one against the Miami Heat, where they may have faltered a bit in the clutch, but got over the line, and one against the Pacers, where they may have faltered to allow the Pacers back in the game, but they got over the line with impressive play in the clutch. And despite the fact that this team has a 7-15 record on the season, it was pretty apparent even before they started winning games like this that they were better than their record suggested. They were keeping games close. They were keeping games competitive. Maybe they would just run out of steam in the fourth quarter. Maybe they would give away games in the clutch. But regardless, they were there. They were around. They were being branded as the team providing the most ethical tank job in NBA history. Not on purpose. I fully support the notion that this team has been and will continue to try and win games. It'll just be, are they good enough to win games? And at some point, if they don't turn things around, they aren't winning games, will the front office then start to step in and decide, okay, tanking is the best thing for this team? Those conversations regarding tanking could go away fairly quickly if the Raptors continue to perform like this, because they're not even completely healthy here. They're missing 2 guys who would be key bench pieces for this team in Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk. And they're missing their starting point guard in Emmanuel Quickley. But since Scottie Barnes has come back, we've seen a much better version of RJ Barrett, who now doesn't have as much of the offensive load on him. He's becoming a smarter player again, taking better shots again, looking reminiscent of that RJ Barrett we had last season. And Scottie Barnes, since his return from injury, has just been phenomenal. He's been playing as a starting point guard for this team. His usage is extraordinarily high, and he is doing fantastic things with that usage, whether it be in the points category, assist category, or in the rebounds category. Statistically, he has been sensational. But what Darko noted after a career-high 35 points against the Indiana Pacers, that it wasn't just about the stats, the box score, all of that. It's the tone setting that has been so fantastic from Scottie Barnes, leading by example for this team. And even when they were 4-14, they were losing games, they weren't getting over the line in these games, the morale, the camaraderie, the chemistry of this team was seemingly still on the up. That remains, and now they are starting to piece together wins to go with it as well. Are the Raptors kind of a decent team in the NBA? Are they really going to be challenging for a play-in tournament spot or a playoff spot? And if they can, is it worth doing that? Because this is the first year of the rebuild after all, and we're looking at a draft that contains the likes of Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, and others. Like, this is a really good year to not be very good and to look at the NBA draft and say, let's give ourselves the best opportunity at getting one of these guys through the draft lottery. You wouldn't really feel upset if a team thought that way, but it's very clear the Raptors are still trying to win basketball games, and now it's becoming more evident to the masses that they're good enough to start doing that. I made a video a couple of weeks ago talking about this team and saying, yes, they are better than their record suggests, but they probably won't do anything about it because their schedule is so difficult, and at some point, before the schedule starts to evens out and gets easier near the end of the season, at some point the front office will step in and look at the draft and say, yeah, that should be our priority compared to winning games. But the team, the coaching staff, may force the front office to change their priorities for this season. What's going to be an extremely big tell for this team, because right now, like, they cannot win on the road, but they're 6-4 at home. So among that 7-15 record at the time of recording, 6 of those 7 wins have come at home. They are above 500 at home, and they have 3 more home games in a row coming up, but those are going to be extremely difficult games. This is the stretch of games. Like, I hate to put such a big tag on 3 games in December of the regular season, but these 3 games are going to provide a lot of evidence as to where this team is heading. I think the Raptors have been underdogs in every game this season, and this will remain for the next 3 games, because here's what it looks like. They have the Thunder, they have the Mavericks, and then they have the Knicks, all of which, again, at home for the Raptors, where they have been performing much better, but they're going to be big underdogs in these games. Like, OKC will probably be favored by close to double digits. I'm thinking maybe 9 on the spread. The Mavericks, probably around 6 points, 7 points. The Knicks, I'm guessing right now, depending how these games go, but I'm guessing right now would also be favored by 5 or 6 points. Like, they're going to be pretty hefty underdogs in all 3 of these games. So if the Raptors emerge out of this run of games with a 2-1 record in these 3 games, I think very much we can start to have conversations about taking this team a lot more seriously. Now, it could blow up in their face. They could come into some real opposition here and go 0-3, but it's clear that RJ Barrett is a much better player with Scottie Barnes healthy. It's very clear, like, Scottie Barnes is on his business this season and has changed his demeanor a lot for the better in the recent stretch of games. And if that can continue, like, this team has the tools right now to compete in these games and to find wins, and they are finding wins now against some of the good teams in this league. So absolutely, this is a team that can start to look at the NBA standings and think, why can't we do this? Why can't we climb up the NBA standings? Like, look at the shape of the Eastern Conference right now. The Toronto Raptors, who are 7-15, are only 2 games out of an NBA play-in tournament position. And the teams ahead of them in this race are the Bulls, Pacers, Nets, Pistons. Like, a bunch of teams that conceivably looking at right now can fall off even more and put the Raptors in that spot. So at a certain point, like, this team is going to have to get their priorities straight, because if it is a goal to prioritize a draft this season, like, the front office may have to step in a little bit earlier than expected. But if the goal is to win as many games as possible and see where it takes this team and then make a decision down the line, then the Raptors are in a great spot. Like, throughout the season so far, these games have been very entertaining to watch, because even when they lose, typically they are very competitive in those losses. But I'm going to remain on my stance here that you want to get to around the trade deadline before making any of these big decisions regarding tanking. Let the team go. Like, is it so bad that we're building chemistry? The main players in this team are clearly getting better and better, and taking those younger rookie second-year players with them over the course of that development. Is it really that terrible? To me, definitely not. Would it be great to look at the draft? Sure, but I see no problem letting this team go and do their thing for a little bit and then making that sort of decision near the end of the season. You know, I don't see the point of wasting a whole season on tanking. Let the guys play. Let the guys try to win. And if that changes the look ahead for February onwards, then so be it. I'll be comfortable with that. But the question still remains, and we go back to the video I made a couple weeks ago talking about this team. Are they going to be able to do it? Are they going to be able to play themselves into a position where the front office no longer wants to step in and decide that tanking is best for the team? Well, we'll certainly see. The schedule is still difficult, but again, these next 3 games are going to be a huge indication and a huge tell as to where this team is heading. Personally, like, at this point, they could go 0-3. They could go 2-1. None of those results would surprise me. 3-0 would surprise me. But 2-1, 0-3, anywhere in between would not be a surprise at this point. Let's just follow along and see what this team can do, because I'm enjoying watching this team. I'm enjoying the development. I'm enjoying the start of the potential upwards trajectory for this team. But I think the big lesson from the recent stretch of games is that even when the Raptors still aren't quite healthy, this team is pretty competitive, and it's certainly going in the right direction. I think that still remains as the biggest thing for this team at the moment. So what do you make of the Raptors going forward? Predict their record over the next 3 games in the comments down below, because that's it for me for today. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more Raptors content, and please support the channel. I want to do more cool stuff like this, and we can if you do support the amateur merch release. Check the link that is in the description for hats, stickers, shirts. Support the brand, get some dope stuff in return. I think that's a win-win trade, and I'll see you again next time for another video.